Epic Games is opting to let developers decide which platform features they do like to use on their listings on the Epic Games Stor, rather than having everything required for all games across the board. It's the same approach company leadership has already said it's taking toward game reviews on the Epic Games Stor. According to tweets from Epic's Sergey Galyankin, developers will be able to opt into almost all future subsystems on the Epic Games Stor, such as achievements, unlocks, and even support tickets. For developers, this means they will have an added level of control over what platform-specific resources their players will have access to through this particular channel. For example, Galyankin says that the system ideally lets smaller devs use the Epic Stor's support ticket system, while larger studios with their own support departments can just link to their own services instead. As with the review story from last week, news of more opt-in features on the Epic Games Stor have been met with mixed reactions on social media. For the most part, those against the system view it as Epic Games pushing the burden of community on the support features to other platforms, as compared to the more centralized all-in-one Stor pages featured on Steam. But, as Galyankin says later on in that same Twitter thread, the Epic Games Stor is not trying to imitate Steam, but on a broader topic Epic is not a better theme, says Galyankin. It's built on different principles, and while it will have some of Steam's features, it does not aim to mimic it. Full Interactive, a Chinese company and current owner of RuneScape developer Jagex, is looking to restructure and, as a result, could be selling some or all of its stake in the studio. The sale is not set in stone. However, in a statement to Games Insider, a Jagex representative said that its parent company had informed the Chinese financial market that Full Interactive is considering selling off some of its assets and is planning a major reorganization. The studio, which was purchased by Full Interactive for $300 million back in 2016, is potentially one of those assets up for a partial or full sale. A sale of assets is one of multiple routes Full Interactive has available as it restructures, said the statement, and by making this initial statement to the market, Full can now begin exploring such options. While its parent company seems to be in a bit of a downturn, Jagex has had a strong couple of years, thanks to its efforts with RuneScape. As of last summer, the online game had generated a total over $1 billion in lifetime revenue since it got its start in 2001. Games Insider notes that the company reported a 51% year-on-year increase in profit in 2018, recording a record $56.7 million for the year. Whatever the outcome of Full's restructure, Jagex continues to execute on our short-term and long-term strategies for the RuneScape franchise, reads the company's statement. Jagex has never been in better shape, and the year ahead will see further investment in the organization as we expand our talent base to create and deliver significant new content for our players. Build on our Jagex Partners third-party publishing initiative, in addition to increasing our presence in the mobile sector with RuneScape itself. Entertainment retailer HMV is facing administration for the second time in 6 years, putting around 200 jobs at risk. The 97-year-old high street chain, which is best known for selling music, DVDs, and video games, witnessed a downturn in sales over Christmas, with the DVD sector in particular struggling to maintain momentum, as reported by The Guardian. The company intends to keep 125 UK stores open, while it continues negotiating with suppliers and potential buyers, and has called in Administrators Club to oversee proceedings. Restructuring outfit that previously saved HMV from administration back in 2013. But the company's executive chairman Paul McGowan has lamented the growing apathy towards the United Kingdom high street. During the key Christmas trading period, the market for DVDs fell by over 30% compared to the previous year, and while HMV performed considerably better than that, such a deterioration in a key sector of the market is unsustainable, commented McGowan. HMV has clearly not been insulated from the general malaise of the United Kingdom high street, and has suffered the same challenges with business rates and other government-centric policies, which have led to increased fixed costs in the business. McGowan also explained that business rates alone represented an annual cost of $15 million, $19 million, and said the firm simply could not withstand the tsunami of challenges facing United Kingdom retailers over the past 12 months. Indeed, it's been a rocky year at the British high street, with the rise of online mega stores like Amazon and shifting consumer habits towards streaming services like Netflix and Spotify, creating a hostile environment for retail chains. Back in March, retail giant Toys R Us shuttered all of its stores in the United Kingdom, while digital game seller Granger Games also closed all 67 of its United Kingdom stores due to a critical financial situation. Artifact. Since it was announced, I have followed Artifact with the intention of writing about it. It's right in my wheelhouse. Not only do I play card games, but I worked on a game that's similar in some ways. It's also appealing to write about a new game, rather than one that's several years or decades old. Normally I write what is probably best described as design-centric game criticism. But based on metrics, Artifact clearly has issues, and those issues are fairly well understood. There's no definitive write-up, a video on those issues, though this video provides a good overview. But if you care enough to read forums, the repetitive nature of the complaints is clear. It's also tough to write about the design issues with Artifact in that you have to get deep in the mechanical wheels. Someone unfamiliar with the game might not understand the complaints, and someone familiar with the game will be well aware of them. I expected Artifact to be bigger than it is. That idea strike while the iron is hot, with some cogent analysis, and reap the benefits of high click counts. At 0 cents a click you need a lot of clicks to get reach, but not many analytical developer types are discussing it, and when they try to discuss a conversation often turns to well, I cannot say much because I have not played it myself. So for this blog post, I'm diverging from my normal format. Rather than writing design-centric criticism, I am instead doing something more into game design work, the kind of design work I did on my own games, as a consultant, shamelessly taken from https://www.reddit.com artifact comments. Anko 7U Arobi Oamati Ionamaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxaxa to go dark notes on artifact cards. In college, I took a short fiction creative writing class, and got back an assignment splashed with red ink. One of the errors called out by the professor was that I do written. She saw a vision of. His note was that use visions, by definition. The key lesson of that class was that while a novel can have entire sentences, paragraphs are chapters, In the case of long fantasy series, entire books that are sloppily thrown together. In the short story, every word matters, and you can and should make every word the best possible one. A card game is similar in that the cards represent a finite amount of content. In a card game, with 100 cards, you have 100 text entries, 100 pieces of art, 100 names, 100 sets of stats, some keywords, hopefully not 100. You can and should iterate and agonize over each of them. Artifact strikes me as a messy game. I sometimes describe it as loose, but I was not sure what caused that feeling. So as an experiment I started doing what I might do for work. I began listing the cards in order and noting issues, and there are a lot of issues. Fresh eyes on a project can be invaluable, and they only last a short while, like a pet owner who gets used to pets. Most developers and testers quickly become used to quirks or difficult issues,